Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most watched, underwatched podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. Uh, it's a pleasure to do this episode. It's a little different from my normal ones. I'm welcoming a special guest of mine, um, a good friend I've been
Yeah.
brothers with for 10 years now, decades since I be journey in high school, and I've seen his career skyrocket to now being a star for his own Netflix show in his own right, and it's an honor to have him on this podcast. And I want to introduce my man Odiseas Georgiadis to the show. How you doing, man?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm doing amazing. How are you, bro?
Living American LA dream.
Yo, bro, I'm glad to be here, brother. I mean, I've known this guy Percy since UA, which, if you don't know, it stands for Urban Assembly School for the Performing Arts, the school we went to together in Harlem, high school. Since the beginning of high school, man, we've been brothers, we've been friends. It's really amazing. It's an amazing journey to grow together. Now he's in Cali. When I'm out there, I see him. God willing, when you come through, you'll see me again and the bros from school, and it's just been a blessing, bro. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's been a good journey, and so as we talk about the journey, one of the first questions I want to ask you, just to give a little glimpse and a sneak peek for people who don't know, but just give a little some details about your journey, and how did you get into the industry?
So it's a short, long story, but when I came to the U.S. with my brother, my mom, around age 9 or so, I was on the train, and a model scout saw me and my brother, was interested. I started with them, and then after a while, I was watching TV one day, and I was like, yo, I was in Brooklyn, East New York, and I was looking at the screen, and I said to myself, one day, I really want to, because by that time, the modeling stuff has slowed down for like the print ads and stuff we were doing. And I was watching a commercial one day in this living room of it was like a 1-bedroom apartment. It was many of us. And I was looking at it and I said, yo, I really want to start acting. I just know I can speak like them. Like, it was just a commercial, but I was like, I can do that. I can do this.
Yeah, right.
So, and I always, since I was younger, man, like, there's been crazy stories told to me of when I was younger and dancing on the table in front of people in Ghana and stuff. And I don't know, I feel that it was in me from a young age, and God called me to this. And one day I was watching TV, I said I wanted to, and then I started to Google stuff online, just Google programs, and I found one. Went to it. It's called BIH Actor Studio, and at the end of it, managers, agents were interested. I signed with a management, Shirley Grant Management, and from there, I began. I started bombing auditions, not getting them, a bunch of them, and then eventually started booking something, and then it, slowly started to progress from commercial to show to, movie, my first film, little part, and then, it takes a lot of time. So since I was about 10 years old, and just kept persisting, and yeah, man, throughout high school and different things, all while simultaneously, my love for music was the first thing, my first love. So doing that as well. So it's been doing both music and acting since a very young age.
Yeah, this is not going to be too much about me this episode, but as we talk about high school, I remember, I remember the conversations we used to have. I would ask you about, how did you get your agent and stuff like that, and you're one of the few people, if not the one that kind of helped me get to where I am right now. And I remember you being like the most popular singer in school, and just to see your journey from then to now, it's man, it's nice to see that, man. And that's not to say just because you're successful or anything, but it's always nice to see that journey. But as we talk about that, But as we talk about that journey, my second question for you would be is, what is it like now, going from commercials and national and television to now being the star of your own Netflix show, Trinkets?
Mm, it's very, it's very, it's an amazing experience. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it was a whirlwind. The first thing that I did was um, I was there for a substantial amount of time. I was in New Orleans for a month shooting The Perfect Date, and that was the first time I was really um, I just had a sizable role of that sort, and I had to be there for that long. Living so long on set, and it was an amazing experience. But it was work and learning to watch and to soak in from other people and following instincts and following God throughout the whole thing. And it was an amazing experience, but it was just so new to me, like uh, certain responsibilities that came along, but watching people as they did it, and also just being on the job and learning it, it just felt like an easy transition because I just said to myself, look, I'm here now. So all I had to do is say, uh, once I got the job, it's time to prepare for it. So I would do so much extra work. And like before I even landed in the place we were shooting in, while I was still in Brooklyn, I would memorize all my lines and try to go above and beyond because I'm like, I can't be on the set like, So yeah, I can't do that. So I think in anything in life that we do, we just have to focus on it, put in work, um, and that's it. Yeah, yeah, man. And believe that you can do it because it's in you for a reason. Think something for good.
Absolutely. And since we're talking about, now that you're, a Netflix star and you achieved the success that, you've always been thriving to get. One of the things I wanted to ask you, especially in this kind of climate that we live in now with all the racial tension and police brutality and stuff. Um, I want to get your opinions
Mm.
about that just a little bit. How do you feel about all of the injustice going on and the racial issues, and how has that impacted you as someone who is of mixed race?
Mm. Mm. That's a heavy question, but a very clear one for me. Uh, and I have a lot to say about that. Um, I'd say that it's just very unfortunate, and we can't ever forget the lives of these people who died at the hands of evil. Um, with everything going on, with injustices, with the darkness that's currently in the world, we just have to always remember to be the light. I just want to say that the lives of Black humans, they matter and they always will matter a lot. And let's be clear, the reason people are making all this noise and talking truth that needs to be heard is that a young man named George Floyd was murdered by the police, as well as a young lady named Breonna Taylor, and many, 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 and I can keep going on with the many's others. It's so sad and unfortunate. People, we're focusing on this because it's happening now. It's happening right now, and it's been happening for hundreds of years, and it has to stop. It's that simple. And Martin Luther King Jr. said that this world we live in is so advanced, right, in technology and advancements, and yet we can't even wrap our mind around simple human love. And
Yeah,
morally, so many of us are infants, right? But with technology and phones and this and that, we're so advanced. But in the simple things, we seem to be degrading sometimes. So many of us. And I would hate to live in a place so rich in the outward appearance, but a desert on what's inside, what really matters. MLK said, like, what I said, he said this in 1964 and it still applies today. And it's insane that it does. What's happening is literally like someone telling you, bro, I'm hungry, right? I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in my own life that I'm experiencing. You're not. I'm hungry. And then people are telling them, nah, you're good. Food is everywhere, AKA telling them to starve. Because we all know that just because food is everywhere doesn't mean everybody's not hungry. When people that are here to protect us kill us, it's time to question what's behind that. Cops are supposed to protect and serve is what they say. But what's really going on? And I have a deep-rooted feeling that it's about hate and fear for Black people.
Right.
And for anybody really who doesn't look like you. You know, the people are tired, which is why people are calling out now and telling the truth and speaking and fighting for what matters. The mothers they're tired of losing their children for reasons that should not exist. We have to be patient and share the truth continually together. And people out there who don't understand what's going on, just research, you know, because it's not a black and white thing. It's all people who want equality, goodness, you know, who have decency versus racism and unfair bias that is against a Black person before any questions are asked. And
Right.
humans are like this, you know, we do have preconceived notions, but the ones that cause evil, those notions that are false and that cause death time and time again and are so irrational, we got to put them to rest for good. And I know I'm like giving a whole speech right now, but I feel that this is my chance to say things that I haven't before said because I've posted in bits and pieces. But there's a time where you need to say a lot, and there's a time where you need to say a little, and there's a time for action. You know,
Right.
so many people think, bro, they think that it's not their problem, but it is. And you should understand, anybody out there that fighting for what is right in any field will strengthen you in standing up for what is right in any other field. You know, if you stand up for what is right in one thing, it's a slap in the face against evil things everywhere. And it'll help you stand up for what is right in all the things that you face. I mean, stand up for what is right in all the things that you face in this life and against what is evil. People have the right to survive, you know? And in fact, I don't want us to just survive. I want us to thrive. But we can't even think of thriving when we can't even survive.
Absolutely.
People are dying, you know? And you can't tell me that the situation in this country would be the same. You know, that situation that happened with George Floyd would be the same if it was a white person in his position. Take a deep look within, you know, and look at others. And if it's not compassion within you or patience or love, then please seek to fix it. I'm not talking about just ending this war and stopping people from brutally evil, you know, and killing each other. But we also must concentrate on filling that space that we have to empty out of evil. We have to fill it now with peace. And we have to sacrifice to have this peace with one another, no matter what we may believe in. I believe that we should at the very least, have peace among each other and respect people's uh, uh, ability to be free, you know, and live. People are asking to just be able to live without someone stopping that because of hate.
Right.
And if you're listening to this, I love you, and bro, you already know I love you, and I just want to say we must not try defeating hate with hate, but instead, and I'm talking to everybody who even knows this is wrong, but we have to arm ourselves with truth and selflessness. And we must defeat it with love. We cannot disrespect ourselves by becoming like the people who we know are wrong, who we are against. We're against them, so why would we use their tactics and their ways? You know?
Right. You know,
Were
as
you gonna?
as we talk about racial tension and stuff, and you made a lot of good points, and you know, me and you, race has never been an issue. But as someone who is half white and half black,
Mm,
um, how does this impact you? Not even just as an actor, but just as a person. Like, do you feel like you have to pick a side just because you are half?
mm. I I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question. Right before um, right before I finish this though, I'll finish what I was talking about before, and then I'll get to that question.
All right.
Because it's a good one. Using violence, right, even against evil, is only a temporary result, and I believe that nonviolence and true action towards the goal is the way. You know, not just speaking of it, but living like it and taking action besides violence to acquire this goal and to help the goal move forward. Because every single person, I don't care what you look like, we're all children of God. We're brothers and sisters in this human race. And we have to remember that no matter what color you are. You have to be okay knowing that you have been taught some lies, those of you who don't see what's going on, and get education to relearn some of those things. Because when people tell you what's happening, and it is happening, and you say it's not happening, you're sleeping. You
Right.
feel me? You're sleeping and you're in the dark. So I just want people to not be in the dark anymore, bro. And uh, and as hard as it may be, we have to, you know, like I said, exercise patience, because some people are babies in certain areas of compassion and in things that they haven't experienced yet. And I believe a huge reason behind it is thinking that we're all so different. Believing lies that many people were told when they were younger. Believing it so much that you internalize it, and now we have police and people who are scared of others because of how they physically look without even knowing the person.
Right.
If you truly are seeing another person in front of you who bleeds, who strives, who learns, and who lives so much like you, if you want to see yourself in others, if you do see yourself in others, why would you do such a thing? I don't think you would. You never should feel so separated from your fellow man that you're okay with watching them physically be harmed or suffer, or you even being the cause of that suffering by physically doing it in that moment. you know and for the cops who did that, right now, the only result of that, one of the results of it, besides the grieving of the loved one that you took away and their loved ones, there's a deep unimaginable darkness over your head now, because justice will be done. And I want justice to be done in life. But there's one justice that will always be done, whether you like it or not, and that's the justice after death. And God will always have his justice. And people who believe in what is right, what I'm saying is we should support our brothers and sisters in the fight for what is right, in the fight for equality, which is a birthright. And I'm talking about a base floor that everybody should have together as one, as first, you know? And I feel like we should support Black businesses and be very intentional about where you spend and use your money. And what I'm saying is to truly live what you believe in your everyday life. I wish people would take a moment to put themselves in the shoes of a Black man or woman who might not make it home to their kids after a normal traffic stop.
Right.
Think about that. Does that, like, for the people who don't see it, does that ever run through your mind that you might not make it home when you're stopped? Probably not. And instead of denying and just taking it personal, see why your brothers and sisters are calling for justice. See why people are crying out in the streets. See what's really going on and see why this country that was based on so much violence and evil, see why so much of it is still going on now. And I have hope for the future. And I feel like there's so many people with a huge heart who are going to help change the system and the situation, but we have to do it. We can't just sit down, because like I said before, a lot of darkness does not take the day off. Darkness does never take a day off. So why should why should love take a day off if the darkness doesn't? So instead of denying it and just taking it personal, see why they're calling out for justice, which all people deserve. And so many people remind me of people who can't, it's like people who can't say that somebody else is talented because they think that their talent won't matter anymore. Just because you say somebody's a good whatever doesn't mean that your talent is disregarded and doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It's the same as thinking that because you're saying a Black life matters and will always matter and really matters, that means that yours doesn't. It doesn't mean that. Because whether or not you admit it, it's happening, And I guess that I want people to do research, and look with love, which is caring for others in a moment where they're in pain, in a moment where you can see it happening, and seeing how they feel and wanting better for them. That's love. Caring about your brother's well-being and not just yourself. We have to get out of greed. We have so much in this country. There's so many people right now living in a way that they think is low compared to the rest of the country, but compared to the world, many people are rich here.
Absolutely.
And I believe that, and I'm gonna wrap it up, but so many people all I gotta say is whether or not you believe it's happening, it's happening. And I'm praying and doing and striving to do better myself, myself and learning. And I'm going to link that to your next question. But for my brothers and sisters who know how wrong this is, and even those who don't yet, never ever think that your part in this life doesn't matter or doesn't mean a thing. Because even a small act of kindness during the day matters, something small, a smile, a dollar given to a homeless person, or more than a dollar, whatever it is. My main point is that we're all more like each other than different. And the skin is a beautiful thing. And people should see color because it was from God. Color is made for a reason. He loves diversity. But what really defines us is on the inside, not the outside. We are all one. We live in the same house and we gotta love one another. And you listening to this, whoever you are, your color is beautiful. Whatever color you are, you were made by God for a specific purpose in mind. And no matter what obstacles you face, you can achieve those dreams. Just put hard work and determination. And whether you know it or not, this truth will always hold and stand true, that nothing is impossible with God. And as for me, I'm just going to try to do my part, and I believe everyone should. And yeah, Jesus loves you. I'm out of here. That's it.
My man, with the heavy stuff, one thing I will say is that I appreciate you speaking out about it, because a lot of people feel people with a strong position and followers and stuff like that aren't really speaking out against, the injustice
Yeah.
going on. And I'm glad you were able to, give your thoughts about it, even if it's even if you feel it's a long, thought. I think it's very important for someone who has that platform to speak about it, and I'm glad that people are able to listen to someone, uh, who isn't viewed as a normal citizen, if you will, talk about it. But one
Mm.
thing I wanted to ask you, personally, especially with all the racial tension, is, like I said, because you are mixed.
Yeah.
How do you identify yourself? Do you identify yourself as a white man or a black man?
Here's how I identify myself. Above all things, I'm a man of God, and I'm a Christian man above all. But in terms of ethnicity and race, uh, I identify myself as a mixed man, a man of mixed race, and a black man. And yeah, that's how I identify myself at the surface level. Because as I told you, it's way deeper than skin. But that's what I identify myself as on the surface level. And but if we're being technical, um, I'm also a half white man and a half black man. My mother is Ghanaian, West African. I was born in Ghana. I identify myself as an African man. But above all, as I said, I'm a Christian man. I'm a man of God.
100%. And I was going to ask you this question, but
Yeah.
you made a good point. And I want to ask, do you think because you are mixed that you are afforded some type of white
Mm.
privilege, or you have experienced you know prejudice against you just because
Mm.
you are have black as
So,
well?
so I like that question. I wouldn't word it the same. I wouldn't word it that way, but I do see a privileged, which shouldn't be there, which shouldn't be there in terms of being different than somebody who's darker than me, you know?
Right.
And it's funny, I was talking to one of my best friends, my brother Jude, and uh, there's many things that he had to deal with in life because of the darkness of his skin that I didn't have to, and it shouldn't be that way. You understand? We should all have that kind of, uh, like I said, base level of of treatment, especially from a system as a whole. You know, the whatever system we're in, um, and even from people. You know, uh, so I believe that sadly, because of my color, certain people may view me as less of a threat, which is a horrible thing
Right.
because you shouldn't think somebody's more of a threat based on color. Uh, and it's sad that sometimes the darker you get, the worse things may be in terms of perception of you at a base level. You know, from people, from uh, uh, white people, like all kind of people, like just a preconceived notion. Because it's sad. You know, it's very sad how it's come to the point where some black people may even view themselves as less because of it. And anybody listening to this, your God-given color is a beautiful thing, and you have to love yourself. You have to look at yourself and say, I'm beautiful, because God says, love one another as you love yourself. And so if you don't properly, adequately love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else, bro? It's hard. It's tough. So yeah, I definitely, and being woken up to the fact that certain things may have been more easy, or not even I wouldn't say more easy, but I would say, and it may have been, but I would say more bias, you know, more, yeah, yeah, because, and I would say that it even goes down to the way you dress, you know, uh, and I'm just gonna admit certain things. You know, I have a eclectic style. I have a very specific style to me. You know, and how I dress may be viewed as less of a threat to certain people, and that sucks. Should not be that way. You should not say, "Oh, a person has sneakers and this." But what about when a white person has sneakers on, or a Spanish person has like what you cannot base things. You cannot treat eternal, you know, beings based on like uh, things that don't matter like that. You can't do that. People shouldn't base uh, your style and suddenly they think that they know who you are as a person. It's just not possible, and it's unfair, you know. Um, but yes, I believe that in some people, they may look at me as less of a threat or less of certain things. But I will say that the things that I do experience like that are not fair. You know,
Right.
it's not that they're right, and I feel like the same treatment I get in terms of that benefit of the doubt when they say, "Oh, I don't know him, so he could be this," or they should give it to anybody and everybody, no matter what you look like. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, you said something, and I'll keep it brief, but you mentioned dress, and I know there's always been a stigma, especially within the black community that as a black man, if you wear a hoodie, you're more likely to get targeted by police, and time and time again, unfortunately, it proves that it turns out to be true, and even for me, I'm one of the most nice people you ever meet, but being a 6'3", 240 pound, dark skinned guy, I've never experienced, outright racism, if you will. But
Yeah.
you can tell sometimes that some people might feel uncomfortable, like if it's dark out and they see me walking down the street, even if I'm, wearing a tank top and I got my headphones on.
Mm.
Some people, might see that as a threat. So I think that was a good point that you mentioned that,
Yeah, man.
it's, yeah, at least all the stuff now is starting to be addressed, and who knows what will happen in the future with this, because it takes time for
Yeah,
stuff
bro.
like this to actually take impact. But I'm glad that you're talking about it, and that it's finally be addressed across the board, not just from normal people but celebrities, media, and even the police. But anyway, I want to make this interview too you know uh sad or anything like that. So I want to actually a little serious but lighthearted question. You know,
Mm.
is there a woman in your life? You experimenting with your sexuality or
Yo, all right. So before we get into that, uh, I want to say that even though these situations are happening, so it is sad and heavy. Um, there are things that need to be addressed, you know, and there's hope in all of this, and there's hope whenever darkness is brought to the light, you know, uh, and that's my statement on that. And I had something else I forgot. I try to mention it when it comes in, but no, I don't have a girl. No.
you're not experimenting with your sexual, opening doors for you know but anyway, so uh as as we talk about police brutality and stuff like that, one of the things I did want to ask you, is about your music. You
Mm.
mentioned that music is your first love, and I've known you since the beginning of time doing it. Do you have any new music or any updates about that? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to know about that.
uh, mm, yes, yes. The update on music that I'd like to give is that it is always a part of me, and that by God's grace is coming.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really what I have to say about it. Yeah, I we must take time. We must take time with great things, you know. Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Just one thing too. Since we talk about music, is there anyone in the business that you would love to collaborate with sometime in the future, or?
Um, Off top, we just have to protect Stevie Wonder at all costs, because because he's one of the one of the greatest treasures in music, and has been for so many decades. And it would be an absolute wish, and hope to work with Stevie Wonder one day, man. Like, yo, God willing, man. So yeah, yeah.
That'd be dope to see, man. I mean, you came this far in your career already, so honestly, at this point, anything is possible for you, and there's nothing
Man, thank
stopping
you,
that.
bro. Same thing for
Absolutely,
you,
man.
bro. Same thing for you.
Yeah. As we wrap this up, is there anything you want to let people know about? About any projects you got coming out, or anything that you want people to tune into to support you? Anything?
Season 2 of Trinkets is coming soon. Uh, I can't say when, but it's coming. Uh, as I said, music is coming, uh, God willing, and same thing for season 2, God willing. And man, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the day. I was talking to my friend. I'm excited for the day where you know the COVID is being under lock, and everyone gets to roam more freely again. I'm excited for that. Uh, yeah.
Absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure. We're not gonna keep this long, because I know you're a busy man. But it was great to have you on the show, man. And I'm really looking forward to season 2, Trinkets. I know, that's been a big thing for you, big project. And I'm
Mm.
sure everybody's all looking forward to hearing some new songs and music that you have coming out, because I've heard some stuff, and I think it's gonna be even better.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. And yeah, I'm excited for the future, man. I'm excited for the
Absolutely.
future. God is good. We're live, and yeah, yeah, bro. I'm gonna catch you. God willing, I'll see you too next time I come to LA, or you come here, either one. Um, but enough about me. I'm excited to see all what you got coming in the future, man. Killing it with the acting game, killing it with the podcast, just killing it with being Mr. No Days Off. So that's it, man. Take us out.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And are you still wrestling, bro? You still wrestling?
Nah, that'll come at some point in the future,
All right,
but
cool. Because you
uh,
know you can take me in a fight. That's all I gotta say.
that's no question. Don't worry. One day, I'll be a bodyguard if need be.
Nah, bro, I'm guarding you. What's up? Nah, nah, nah.
That's what I'm talking about. And like I said, man, I have you on the show, so if my podcast don't blow up after this, you're not invited. So
Yo,
but
yeah, I like that. I like that. Yo.
but
Oh, man.
it's been a good episode. Thank you again, for joining me on this podcast, and I'm looking forward to having you again at some point. Some updates about your new season of Trinkets, and
I'd love to be back. I'd love to be back, man.
absolutely, man. And remember, my biggest slogan is, "Helping hand is a better hand," and we're looking forward to seeing your new projects.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Take it easy. Wear your face mask, and and continue being, uh, a proud black man at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Same to you,
Absolutely.
my brother. Amen. Peace.
Amen. God bless.